Well, happy Friday to you. Thanks for tuning in to JEDIOSHI here, Friday, February 4th. Big day today. Big green day. We popped. $3,000 day so far. We'll see how that closes tonight. But nice to see this action, especially as we faded off that line a couple days ago. But let's dig in. I wanted to show you some things. Have some things for you today. Let's fly by so we know Bitcoin's up. We're gonna take a look at a couple things that are interesting. And first, let's look at our Dow Jones and our Dow Jones fractal. We talked in the live stream this week about putting in a correction here and following the fractal. And so far we have. If you look at the S&P, we talked about this perfect kiss off the 618. Look at that, guys. I mean, this was, we called it. Live stream was Wednesday. Here we are. We said, yeah, 618. Confluence with some other levels, and we're putting in a correction. Notice how the 618 bounced down to the 382. It's also interesting. So if my theory about the blow off, my theory about following this Dow 1920s fractal, if that's correct, I'm not sure how long this lasts. We haven't really been following it that well. It's more of structurally. It's a structural follow. Chop at the top, followed by a final drop, and then we move up. If the theory holds and we follow this fractal, that's also what's interesting is we are cooling off here a little bit after a nice V bottom off the bottom. And we cool off and then we continue higher. New all-time highs, everybody gets in. Look at this sideways action here. So I believe that what's good for equities is what's good for crypto. That's why we look at equities so much. It's not because I love the Dow Jones, because I really don't. I really don't love anything. As a trader, I love charts and analysis and making money. So S&P kiss off the 618, very interesting. Let's look at this overlay. We have Bitcoin's in black, Dow Jones in green, S&P in red, NASDAQ in blue. Look at, if I zoom in here, look how equities are tracking each other. That NASDAQ fell first. I think NASDAQ is the highest falling percentage. But look, everything sprung back. Now we are moving off the bottom today. It's a little bit of a green day in the equity side, but we still have corrected. So if the theory holds, this correction resolves, we move higher, Bitcoin moves higher, and look, Bitcoin's up. Bitcoin's outside of this. So are we going to start seeing we're going to start seeing everything move up? I like to see this. Let's look at, just real quick, the dollar. Look, the dollar has fallen. It's been falling this week. Remember, last week, equities rallied into close on Friday into a stronger dollar. The dollar has since fallen. Equities did move up to that 618 on the S&P on a weakening dollar. This is bullish for assets, equities and crypto. Hopefully we see this fall. Let's look at this. I would just say, is this a support trend line? Just my eye goes to this, right? If we break down, we could come down to, could just continue to fall. Would be nice for assets, for crypto. On the dominant side of things, look, this is the 4 hour. We can go to the daily. It gets wiki though. If you go to the daily on dominance, see, it's kind of a Bitcoin day today. Bitcoin is up. It's the king. It's the leader. We're up 8%. We'll look at some alts that are, strong today too. But as we move into a retracement, I expect this to fall. If we can break this floor at 40%, boy, I think we get ourselves a nice alt season in the retracement. So let's go back to the daily, right? 86 days in the correction mode. This is the average day, the average down day. So this is about a $39,000 move, plus or minus, just shy of that. If you divide that into 86 days, you get an average of $409 per day. But what I'm interested in is, what is the significance of this candle? And it is the biggest green day we've had since the correction started. We did have this final green candle at the top was 6.7%. was a nice blow off candle. I mean, everybody thought we were going, straight up. And kind of that exhaustion candle, right? As you do see sometimes. But this is the biggest candle day we've had so far. If you look at what it looks like in my mind, what I would want to see is it's in a distribution. So it would look like something like this. This isn't actual data, I just drew it. But the average day would be less than 0, and you would have today's move way out there. It's the highest day, so it would be out there. So when you think of standard deviations, that's how you chop up this bell curve, right? So it's within one standard deviation. I think one standard deviation on either side of the mean is, or the average is, it's at 64%, I think, and then 2 standard deviations is some other percent of the data. But we're out here, this is probably a 2 to 3 plus maybe a 4 sigma day. So it is statistically out there, statistically relevant, and nice to see. So, $1 million question, where do we go from here? What happens? Let me show you the fractal. We posted this, but basically we were separating in here on the fractal. See, we were above it while this fell. And then we also were separating here on the bottom. So we've started to peel away from this fractal. It's followed it very well since September of last year. So we started peeling away from the fractal. I think we are going to have some overhead resistance at 40 to 41K. I really do. There's the horizontal level in here, support resistance level. That's the next battle zone. Will be 40 to 41K. So, but again, are we going to follow this fractal and kind of get rejected off 40 to 41K and then put in a B? Is that what this looks like? ABC? Or do we start separating from this fractal and make, there is another fractal pattern that I could show you guys, but you've probably seen it. It has I'm not sure if it looks like that or something, but basically, like, if we get an A, maybe to the 0.5, then at some point, and at that point, you don't know what B is going to do, right? If this is an ABC, we've looked at a lot of charts that have a shallow B. So you have to be careful about wanting to trade this, but we'll see. In my world, I'm looking at altcoins and I'm looking to see what kind of strength we see in the altcoins. Do we have, here's one scenario. ABC, we kind of follow the fractal. Maybe we get rejected off the 41 level. We come back here for February. So it's muted. The move out is muted. We rebuild strength February, and then we really run from late February into March, April, or maybe March. Maybe this is 3 weeks of really strong action for both Bitcoin and the altcoins. Right. So I'm waiting for alt to tell the story. If you look at some of the movers today on the relative strength leaderboard, we have Elon, Dog Elon, Populous, Near, Hero, RBN, AVAX, Dragon, KDA, and Qtum all above 10% on the day. So those are all leading Bitcoin at the moment. So nice to see that. Nice to see the day today. Nice to see how we resolved this line. And I know, and I'm in the same camp. We'll look at this in a second. But what I was going to say is I'm in the same camp that, look, I use both diagonal lines. These are called trend lines, and then horizontal lines for support resistance, right? So trend lines can be support resistance. Otherwise, guys, you wouldn't have things like bear flags. You wouldn't have patterns like rising wedges, right? Like, diagonal lines matter. Horizontal lines also matter. Look, you eyeball support levels. There's 41, then you have this old ceiling at 44, then you have 46, then you have 51. As you go back up here, and then you can apply your fibs. Let's do that. On a retrace, do we go, we make through 41, do we go to 382 at 46, get rejected off this floor, bounce back, and then, how does this activate? But I think what's optimistic and what is nice to see is this is a little bit unexpected, even for me. I was looking at a rejection off this line and, a bounce back, maybe to put in a double bottom, and then we finally resolve out. But it is nice to see this. Don't forget, we need this to close, right? And even on my system, candle needs to close for the system to activate a signal. So on the daily, we do need a candle to close. So far, this is pushing at the highs of the day. This is not getting sold off yet. And we have about 6 hours left in the day. Let's look at volume really quick, because I know that was something that people were wondering about. This is a nice volume candle. It's not huge by any means, but it is above, I would say above the average. Maybe the average is here. This is above the average, and also we have 6 hours left to go in the day. So nice to see that. Nice to see RSI spike. What happens here? Do we, there's another path is, we come back here and test the top side, and we do that, right? So, that's a possibility too. But being outside this line for the first time in 86 days is nice, refreshing. It looks like it has the strength to hold up throughout the day. Now we'll see, but let's go to the 1 hour. This, don't forget, this really kicked off as equities opened in New York, right? So it's only been 3 hours, but if we can close up here and get a close outside this line, that'll be a bullish signal for us. Be nice to see that. So what else? What was the fractal? We looked at that fractal, this ABC. How do we paint that? Oh, this. I did this because, these are the things that you're going to hear about, and don't be surprised, because we're going to pick up a lot of doubt as this plays out. If this plays out, B, if it does, then this is what it's going to feel like. This is what you're going to see on Twitter and even feel it yourself, right? So, down here, basing lows of 33, 34, it's fears, panic. It's, we've been down for so long and we can't catch a break. And then we got rejected again, right? We got rejected off the line, and, we're going down to, it's new bottoms and everything. Then it turns around. So it went contra to sentiment. If we get even if we don't get an ABC, whatever, I just don't be surprised to have, the people will doubt this relief rally. People will doubt the retracement. But when we get up into these levels, as soon as we start breaking up into here, and perhaps that's in the mid 50s or something, if we get a retrace back to here, this is when you're going to have everybody calling for new all-time highs. And so that's what you just expect that, right? That's what people are going to be saying about the market. That's how people are going to be feeling. People are going to be feeling greedy. They're going to be feeling excited. They're going to be calling for 100K, all-time highs, nothing but up only, and we'll be looking for chart breakdowns, and we're going to be looking at alts, and we're going to be looking at, at all these indicators to tell us that, look, it's time to get out. We'll be looking at equities. We'll be looking at Bitcoin. We'll be looking at altcoins, so we'll be on top of this. So don't worry. We'll be on our game here. But again, I pointed this out in the Telegram, but look, on the daily RSI, we popped up, we came back and retested on the top side. And here we go. So nice to see that. Enjoy the day. It's Friday. Enjoy today. Enjoy your weekend. Please like this video. Please subscribe to the channel, and follow me on Twitter, and send a DM if you'd like access to our Telegram. We're a community of people learning to read charts, think for ourselves, take action, and become traders. Become successful and consistently profitable in any market. One last thing before we go. Total 3. We've been watching this. This is daily. Well, let's look at 4 hour. This is the total altcoin. We'll start looking at this more often, but this is the total altcoin excluding Bitcoin and Ethereum. We did have a pretty significant drop. This is total market cap from 1 trillion down to 600 billion. So pretty significant drop on alts, and we're seeing some strength here. So we'll keep an eye on this, but I want to see this really start to move up, and we'll see that in individual alts as well. So enjoy your day. Thanks for tuning in. Like the video, and we'll see you next time.